What's up everybody, Ninth Jim here, back with another VGC 2020 Pokemon Sword and Shield competitive video. Today we are talking about Bisharp. This Pokemon actually placed very highly in OCIC. It was on the 4th place team. It was on the something else in top 8 team, I think like 6th or 7th. And it did very well. It was placed beside Gengar a lot of the time, or not like beside it as a partner Pokemon, but it was on that team with Bisharp and Gengar, and that was really interesting. And I just had to cover Bisharp. This Pokemon is really interesting. It has Defiant, which is an amazing ability. It has a really good typing that's only really weak to 3 things, one being a quad weakness, but it has like a million resistances, which is really good. This Pokemon's ability and typing is really strong, and its stats are very solid across the board. However, all of its weaknesses just kind of kill it, which is unfortunate. But pairing this Pokemon with things like Follow Me user and potentially other Pokemon that can just solidify a victory is really, really good. So this Pokemon being Dark Steel is really interesting. You have immunities to Poison and Psychic, which is very good. Resistances to Normal, Grass, Ice, Flying, Rock, Ghost, Dragon, Dark, Steel. So many resistances. What is that, 9? 9 resistances? Crazy. That's so many. You can switch this in on a lot of Pokemon. However, it is pretty frail, so you don't want to switch it in on a lot of Pokemon. But in singles, you can definitely switch it in, which we do have single spotlight at the end. And this Pokemon actually is very solid in the meta, in my opinion, as well. Being Defiant gets rid of all the Intimidate stat debuffs, all max moves. Defiant is an amazing ability this gen. It's really, really good. And every Pokemon that has Defiant has shown up in a tournament, which is really interesting. So that's awesome. Without further ado, with a little bit more ado, because we're going to talk about its stats real quick. So anyway, into its stats, HP 65 is pretty solid. Not really, it's very low. And then 100 defense is very solid, but with its HP being so low, this Pokemon is pretty frail. And then 70 special defense, also pretty low. Overall, this Pokemon is just pretty frail. It has a solid defense, so if you run in on a resistance, physical attacking resisted type, you don't take a lot of damage, but it'll knock off your Focus Sash, which will then, take a lot of damage. Probably kill you with the next attack that they do. So this Pokemon is really important about placement. When you want this Pokemon in, it has to be, it has to get its Defiant boost to really deal a lot of damage, and then it has to just not immediately die. So there's a lot of things that have to happen for this Pokemon to be really good. However, if you do get all those things to happen, this Pokemon's really good. 125 attack is very, very high regular attack, really good physical attack, 125, and then 70 speed is like okay, we're like not that fast, but with max invested, not timid nature because you don't actually outspeed much. We'll talk about that more in a little bit with my speed tiers. But anyway, for now, let's go ahead and jump into this build. So as far as this build goes, we have Ability Defiant, of course. We have Focus Sash, of course. You can definitely go with Life Orb. However, I really value the Focus Sash. Being able to live like an extra turn sometimes, or just the initial turn, is really important in my opinion. I think Bisharp's super frail, so we should definitely lean into the fact that we're doing a lot of damage, but we're not really living that much, and that's fine. So I like Focus Sash a lot. Into our moves, we have Iron Head, Sucker Punch, Brick Break, Protect. Brick Break is optional. I like Brick Break. I think it's good. It's good against Grimmsnarl. Breaking screens is really good, especially since you can OHKO a Grimmsnarl, a like very, very defensive Grimmsnarl, with Iron Head, with 1 Defiant boost, and then also like you don't do it through Reflect. So having Brick Break is pretty valuable in my opinion. It's also really good. I think Lapras Gmax is going to be pretty powerful when March 1st happens in season 3. So yeah, I think that's pretty valuable to have as well, being able to just Brick Break through stuff like that. And then we also have Protect. I think Protect is good. You can Protect up and then preserve your Defiant boost, not having to switch out, and then have your partner Pokemon kind of deal with whatever threat, something like your partner Togekiss dealing with a Conkeldurr or something like that. Conkeldurr is very scary. Mach Punch just kills us. We have that Tyranitar kind of thing where it's just quad weak and we just die to Mach Punch, which is unfortunate. And a very Conkeldurr meta is very unfortunate. Iron Head and Sucker Punch, really good stab moves. Sucker Punch is really interesting. It gives you priority if your opponent, it always goes first if your opponent is using an attack, which is really good. So we have things like Dragapult that we just OHKO with Sucker Punch. We have things like, there's a lot of Pokemon that Sucker Punch does a lot of damage to if you can catch that attack, which is really good. Although it fails if they don't use an attack. So if they go for like Protect, or, you know, like nasty plot, any non-attacking move, it just fails, which sucks, but it is good. Iron Head is our best steel type stab move. I think having steel is really good. Steel is a really good format this generation, especially with Togekiss running wild. So that's good. Into our other moves here, we have Throat Chop. This is another good dark option. You can definitely run this over Brick Break. Actually, a lot of builds will run that over Brick Break or Assurance. Throat Chop makes them not be able to flee next turn, not be able to run around on your next turn. Assurance does more damage if you are damaged this turn, so if something outspeeds you, then Assurance does double damage, hitting 120 base power. Really, really good stuff. However, I just opted to use all of our other stuff. We lose Pursuit, which is very unfortunate. We lose Knockoff, which is pretty unfortunate. So this Pokemon did lose a little bit this gen. However, Defiant is better this gen, so I think that's a good option as well. Or that's like a fair trade-off. We also have Stone Edge and Low Kick, both for just coverage. Low Kick is another good. Like, Low Kick was really good against things like Tyranitar, the Mirror Match against another Bisharp, although Brick Break will suffice in against another Bisharp. So, yeah, Low Kick is cool. It's a good option, but we're probably not going to use it. And same with Stone Edge. I think Stone Edge is promising, though, having, like, a Stone attack, or a Rock attack. Stone or Fire. Rock attack is pretty good. So, yeah. That's it for our moves. There are a couple other promising moves, things like Taunt, but our Pokemon's just not that fast, so I don't really like Taunt on this Pokemon. Anyway, into our investments. So you could go this like a different route. You could go HP and then Dynamax this Pokemon. However, I don't really like Dynamaxing it since it's so naturally frail. I really like just attacking with this Pokemon while it's normal. So we just maxed into attack 252 and then also maxed into speed 252, bringing both of those stats pretty notable, especially the attack going up to 194 is really good. And then also we're Adamant Nature, since the going into Jolly doesn't really do much, honestly. Like, we outspeed like one or two Pokemon that are pretty niche and not going to be very used. So I think it's fine to be at Adamant, in my opinion. Just dealing more damage is good. And Life Orb is actually, like, Life Orb pushes us up in a lot of calcs. So Life Orb is definitely an option as well. I just value not dying immediately, you know. I don't like dying. Yeah. Anyway, that's going to be it for our first slide. We're going to go ahead and jump into our speed tiers here. Our speed tiers are pretty brutal. We get outsped by a lot of things. We're down here at 122. We're on the same speed tier as Ludicolo, on the same speed tier as Hitmontop, on the same speed tier as Butterfree. However, Butterfree is always going to be either Scarf or Timid Nature and be faster than us, so that's why I left it out. But Bisharp is the same speed tier as Hitmontop. Hitmontop will sometimes be max sped in or max into HP. I doubt it. It'll usually be 252 into HP and attack, and then none into speed. So we'll usually be outspeeding Hitmontop, which is good. Ludicolo will usually be outspeeding us. It'll usually be double if Rain Dance is set. So if we can alter the weather, then we'll be speed tying Ludicolo, which is fine. And then we also have Pelipper. We are outspeeding Pelipper most of the time. It's usually going to be modest. Sometimes you'll see it being max speed like Timid Nature, and then it'll be outspeeding us, but we'll usually outspeed it. Then we have Tyranitar at neutral 252. Tyranitar is usually going to be outsped. We're usually going to be outspeeding it unless it's Scarf, or if it's just Jolly max speed, it'll still be outspeeding us, but you won't see that very frequently. Usually if it's max speed, it's going to be Adamant, unless it's Scarfed, then it'll be outspeeding us every time, like no matter what. On to our next one, it's Form Changed Rotom, uninvested. If it's invested into speed at all, really at all, you know, a little bit of speed investment won't outspeed us, but most of them will have a good bit of speed investment and usually will be outspeeding us. But if it's uninvested, if it's super bulky, just HP defense kind of stuff, then we'll be outspeeding it, but probably not. Indeedee female, we're always going to be outspeeding it. They're never going to have speed invested, come on. Maybe they will, but I doubt it. Duraludon will usually be outspeeding us. We see sometimes like Assault Vest, like HP and Special Attack invested, and then we'll be able to outspeed it, but usually it's going to be, like, I see it more often, either Life Orb, usually just Life Orb, or sometimes Weakness Policy, but Max Speed and Modest, or Max Speed Timid, in which case it'll be a 137 or 150 respectively, and it'll be outspeeding us, so yes. Duraludon will probably outspeed us most of the time. which is fine. It doesn't really threaten us, so we don't really threaten it that much. You know, Brick Break does like a bit of damage, like a chunk of damage, but it's not. We're not like neither of us are threatening Okos. Although like Duraludon can with like Fake Tears, but it can't Fake Tears us probably unless it goes with a non-priority Fake Tears, which you'll never see. You'll always see it on like Whimsicott or something like that, but they can't Fake Tears us because we are Bisharp or Sharp. Anyway, the last one is Form Change Rotom. It'll usually be outspeeding us. So yeah, that's it for our speed tiers. We'll go ahead and jump into our damage calcs. So damage calcs, a lot of these are going to be Defiant boosted. So if your opponent plays really well and plays around Defiant as well as they can, then they'll get around this. But Arcanine has really shown to be very, very prevalent in the meta on almost every team. It's one of the most played Pokemon right under Togekiss, and then we have Incineroar coming. So yeah, most teams are going to have Intimidate on their team, which is good. Like Intimidate is very good, but Defiant is really good as well. So yeah, +1, 252 Adamant Iron Head into a Togekiss gives us a small chance of OHKOing, 37.5 chance. That's not enough to really expect to OHKO Togekiss, which is unfortunate, but it is, you know, it is what it is. You can max this Pokemon and then OHKO, or if you Life Orb and you're Defiant boosted, you will be OHKOing, which is really good. Unless they Dynamax, but if they Dynamax, like, whatever, we don't have to worry about it too much as a threat. So, then we have Sucker Punch into a Dragapult. We're going to be OHKOing every time, 93.8% chance. Like, come on, we're going to knock it out. Defiant boosted Iron Head into a Grimmsnarl does 109 to 130%. However, this is without Reflect, so if they set Reflect, we're only going to be hitting, you know, that 55 to 60 to 70%, which is not an OHKO, but it is a 2-hit KO, so that's fine. This is also Defiant boosted, so if we're not Defiant boosted, we're probably 3-hit KOing through Reflect, which is unfortunate. Heat Wave by Arcanine. Heat Wave we see more frequently now on Special Arcanine, on Support Arcanine. We see Heat Wave a lot of the time. However, if it has Flamethrower, it will be OHKOing. If it's Heat Wave, it's not OHKOing. Although, like I said, we are running Focus Sash, so we will be pretty much in the same position either way, no matter what they use. And Arcanine will be outspeeding us a fair amount of time. A lot of Arcanines will have like 220 investment. That's the most used. So yeah. Anyway, on to our next one. We have Conkeldurr Mach Punch. We're dead. Like, we're dead. Focus Sash, we live, but we're dead. Like, let's be real. You die this turn, or you take damage this turn, you get one attack, you don't kill it, and then it Mach Punches you next turn, you die. So that's unfortunate. And then Excadrill, High Horsepower, max attack, just kills us. Guaranteed OHKO, 130 to 154%. Even if it was Jolly, it would still OHKO us, so that's unfortunate. We just have a bad matchup against Excadrill. So this Pokemon's really strong. It just has a bad matchup against a lot of the most used Pokemon. Things like Arcanine, Conkeldurr, Excadrill, Pokemon like that. And that's just unfortunate, but it is what it is. Next on our list, Single Spotlight. Single Spotlight, boys. So anyway, Single Spotlight really is... Like, this Pokemon's good in singles, definitely. You know, it can take out a lot of big Pokemon. It can set up Swords Dance, Defiant, and just deal huge damage with Life Orb as well. And you can really stack boosts like Life Orb, Defiant, and then Swords Dance. You put this Pokemon in on one of its 9 resisted hits, don't take much damage, and then Swords Dance, your opponent has to reposition, then you just kill anything. You just kill them. But if they bring in something more, like, that is super effective as well as outspeeding you, you're in for a bad time. So, you know, Bisharp's alright, but it's not amazing. And that's really where its position is in the meta, unfortunately, for it. Anyway, for the build itself, it's almost identical, except we switched out Life Orb, the Focus Sash for Life Orb. We also switched out, what was the other thing? Oh, yeah, a different move for Throat Chop. We just switched out Brick Break for a Throat Chop, because why not? I don't know. I value another dark type attack on this. However, this is mostly just like, you know, not really my build, so I don't play singles really. So this can definitely be modified into the best build for singles. However, this is a pretty good starting point. And then the EV spread is the exact same. Yeah. So Bisharp is pretty cool. I like him a lot. I like Defiant as an ability. It's so good. Defiant is so good. So yeah, I think just about any Defiant Pokemon can make it in the meta, and we saw, I mean, 4th place at OCIC. You can't really deny that. That's a really good placement, so It's pretty good. I like Bisharp. I think it's good. I think it'll see some more meta play. However, Incineroar, yes, Incineroar sets off its Defiant. However, Incineroar is still really scary, you know, being able to threaten you a lot with that Flare Blitz. Having Focus Sash, you can deal a lot of damage back, especially with Brick Break. However, it's not the most damage. and you're going to take a lot of damage, so yeah. Alright, that's about it for this video, so thank you so much for watching. If you like this kind of content, like and subscribe. It means so much to me. Giveaway is almost closed. We're at 930 something, so if you're about to subscribe, if you're thinking about subscribing, subscribe, and then go join our giveaway, and then you'll be entered into our giveaway. You can win one of our Funko Pops. They're over there. I should really get one of those for the video to show it off at the end, but that's going to be it. Closes at 1,000, and then we'll have another at 15 and 2K, so if you don't get it, continue to sub, and then one day we'll have another announcement, giveaway, and then give more away. So, yeah, like it up, subscribe it up. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.